lecture, obviously I'm a teacher, I would like to know where everybody's coming from so that precisely I can address my lecture based on your opinions, ideas, and if there are misperceptions that I would detect, then let me clarify them for you. So let me see, who among you here are for the RH bill? Okay, a great majority, it would appear. How many of you are anti the RH bill? Okay, you're a minority. How many of you don't even know what it's all about? Alam ko sasabi, syempre, di ba? Parang UB student pa yan. Parang kamatera siya, no? So, ibig sabihin, supposedly alam nyo. So, pag nag-quiz ako at the end of my lecture, makakasagot kayo, di ba? Medical students are always scared whenever I tell them they have a quiz after my lecture. I would be the one to... Yes, so I'm tasked this afternoon to talk to you about the medical, public health, and ethical aspects of the reproductive health bill. Who among you here are in the field of biology and other life sciences? Very few, because precisely this was organized by CSSP, no? Psychology. Oh, yung psychology naman yung pre-med. Okay, so in bioethics, there are 4 principles that we always emphasize to students, especially medical students. Those are the principle of autonomy, meaning your capacity to determine things for yourself. Obviously, before you can make an informed choice and decision, you have to know everything. The doctor has to tell you the pros and cons, right? The justice of autonomy means give everyone their due. The higher virtue would be, and principle would be, do good, avoid harm to your patients. Pwede hindi namin kayo mapagaling, pero sana naman huwag namin kayo mapatay. But bottom line, all these principles in bioethics move towards only one goal, and that's respect for persons and human dignity. So all your doctors are supposed to be respectful of your personhood and of your human dignity. Okay. So the bottom line is, whether you're pro-RH or anti-RH, all of us want that women don't die of childbirth, especially doctors. I mean, as you know, we're very much pro-life. We don't want our patients dying on us. We don't want babies dying on us. So with this thing of MDG5, we're all for that, okay? But we differ in the way we plan to achieve that goal, especially from the medical point of view. For example, in the Philippines, it is said that 10 women die of complications due to pregnancy and childbirth. But in medicine, we talk about making sure that you have the right diagnosis, you know what is the cause of the illness, so that you can apply the appropriate remedy. Hindi po pwede yung band-aid management. Okay? So in other words, ano ba ang pumapatay sa mga babae pag nanganganak sila? Yung bang baby mismo ang pumapatay sa kanila? Yung panganganak ba mismo ang pumapatay sa kanila? Or it's something else? That because we have to address that something else in that case, right? So according to this data, it says that the #1 cause of maternal mortality secondary to pregnancy is due to the lack of skilled birth attendants present assisting them during delivery. In other words, even if you had, this is already your 10th pregnancy and childbirth, if you're going to deliver, for example, in St. Luke's Hospital, or in the medical city where I practice, most likely, you're going to come out of it alive, and your baby alive as well. Even if it were your 12th or 15th pregnancy, right? Why? Because you're in the medical city, you're in St. Luke's. But if you're going to deliver your 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th child, and you're going to be in the bundocks, and there's not even a hilot attending to you, the probability is you're going to die, right? So these data clearly show that the cause of maternal mortality is not the pregnancy per se, or the number of children per se, but because of the lack of skilled birth attendants present at birth. Okay, so here we have other data. The main causes of maternal deaths which could have been avoided. You see the longer bar, okay? And it says there, we could have avoided the deaths of these pregnant women had they had improved access to comprehensive, essential obstetric care. Take note, obstetric, not family planning. Meaning, buntis na yung babae, ano ang kailangan niya? Okay? So what are these deaths? Bleeding, okay? Puerperal infection, unsterile things that the hilot might be using, or walang antibiotics sa bundocks, eclampsia, which is hypertension occurring during pregnancy, obstructed labor, meaning suhe, hindi na-detect na suhe, kambal, hindi na-detect na kambal. So if you notice, those are the reasons why women die of childbirth. Again, you put that woman in a very modern institution and no sweat. We're going to deliver that baby and that mother alive. Okay? So therefore, what contributes to the slow reduction in MMR, maternal mortality rate? Obviously, it has to be a concerted effort from the individual, societal, and community, and obviously national level. Lahat dapat kumilos. Hindi po pwedeng gobyerno lang, hindi po pwedeng tayo lang, hindi po pwedeng medical community lang. And then, just to give you a sample, quote-unquote, perfect community when it comes to controlling maternal mortality. There is actually a place, it's in Cagayan, Surigao del Sur, so Tanto Darat, where they have zero maternal mortality rate, as in zero. Walang namamatay sa panganganak sa mga lugar na to. Ano ang ginawa nila? Bakit ganun sila ka-successful? Pregnancy Watch, prepaid perinatal services, upgraded birthing centers, butika ng bayan, walking blood bank, tambayan sa birthing, male motivators. If you notice, again, walang family planning method. In other words, pag manganganak, kung kulang ng dugo, bigyan nyo ng dugo. Kung kailangan ng antibiotics, bigyan nyo ng antibiotics. Kung kailangan na magpapaanak, dapat may doktor or at least a trained midwife. Okay. So again, what should be the priority interventions on the ground? Obviously, we need, and I agree with this in this particular provision of the reproductive health bill, that there should be emergency obstetric care nationwide. Okay? All women giving birth should be attended to properly by competent health professionals. Okay? At the service level, meaning from our side, doctor side, okay, what can we do? Obviously, dapat nagpa-prenatal ang mga babae. Maraming reason kung bakit sila hindi nagpa-prenatal, but that's one of the things we can educate them about. And then, obviously, train a lot of birth attendants. Okay, so what are we debating about as far as the RLH bill is concerned? Personally, I find 4 specific aspects of the bill that I need to scrutinize and, in fact, shoot down. I'm blunt enough to say my position on this aspect. Classifying family medicine supplies as essential medicine, promoting a program to achieve equitable allocation of resources, education and promotion of safe sex and use of modern contraceptive devices, mandatory age-appropriate reproductive health and sexuality education. Because of the fact that we're limited by time, I'm only going to focus on the 3, and I would leave the sex education to some other discussion or another time for you. This theme of supposed safe sex, okay? This is what you see in medical book textbooks, okay? The gradation of the sizes of the different microorganisms. Siguro naman familiar kayo dun sa mukhang bulate, di ba? Siguro naman tapos kayo ng biology ng high school. Okay? Ano yun? Bulate? Ascaris lumbricoides. No, that's the sperm. That's the human sperm. If you know, this is the biggest thing of all in the things that I have depicted. And yet, the latex condom, which is made up of rubber, which is made up of latex, some sperms can easily penetrate, especially if the condom slips off and would break. Okay? But the rest of the sexually transmitted diseases are smaller, right? So, what am I saying here? Based on the research done by Dr. Michael Rowland, and this was published in the American newspaper as early as in the early 1990s, the size that is inherent in the rubber comprising the condom is about 5 microns. Sino man ang physicist sa inyo, maintindihan nyo ibig ko sabihin? 5 microns, ang average sperm 50 microns. Ibig sabihin, mas malaki yung sperm, di ba? So in other words, mapipigilan yung sperm. Okay, fine. But the AIDS virus is 0.5 micron. Okay? May experiment, alam mo naman tayo mga biologists and medical doctors, you just don't believe hearsay, obviously. Anong ginawa? You get a positive HIV blood, put that in a sterile condom, get a sterile water filled with sterile water, sarado mo yung condom na may blood, right? If you know your chemistry, solutes move from an area of higher concentration to an area of lower concentration, right? By osmosis, that should happen. And what happened? After some minutes, the sterile white water, which is supposed to be clear, has been turning pinkish. And when they did this analysis of that water, it has RBCs. RBCs are bigger than the AIDS virus. RBC, ano ba RBC? Yun yung nagpapapala ng dugo nyo. Okay, yung virus nasa loob pa ng cells. That's why viruses don't live outside the human body because the viruses have to be inside the cell. Okay, so they found RBCs. And the thing is, you cannot really document the AIDS virus precisely because viruses don't live outside the cell, the human body. Namamatay agad. And that, for us, in medicine works well. Kasi makokontrol namin ang diseases better, if that's the case, right? But what am I saying here? That if you can detect RBCs, which is positive for AIDS virus, there is that doubt that, is it really safe? Ngayon, anong recommendation ng doktor na to mismo? Because as early as in the 1990s, they were distributing free condoms to all public schools in the United States. He said, since sila yung maker, alam niyo naman sa States, pwede kang ma-lawsuit if you misinform the public. You know that, right? So they cannot risk having a lawsuit. So what did they do? They have to come out in the open, in the newspaper, to say what's the real score as far as the latex that makes the condom is all about. And he said, kung talagang makulit kayo at gusto niyo talagang mag-sex with an HIV-positive person, what I suggest is use a minimum of 2 condoms. But I will not advise that you only use 1. Okay? And of course, the challenge is, I would challenge anyone here who would dare have marital relations with someone who's HIV positive. It's a challenge for you. Okay? If you're willing to take the challenge, fine. We took care of Sarah Jane before she died. And that's one of the things we were telling her. If you continue engaging in sexual relations with this partner, obviously your sexual partner is going to die. I took care of an HIV positive patient. The wife and 7 children were all HIV positive. Okay, that's how it is with HIV. There's no, playing around with HIV/AIDS. Okay, so STDs and HIV, this is what the Centers for Disease Control or the CDC and the US FDA is saying. I invite you to visit their websites so that you know that I'm not inventing anything. Okay? It says here that sex with condom isn't totally safe sex, but it is less risky sex. The most reliable ways to avoid transmission of STDs are to abstain from sexual activity or to be in a long-term mutually monogamous relationship with an infected partner. O, kapaniwala. Amerikano nagsasabi, chastity tayo. Okay? Of course, I was told, Doktora, please talk about when does human life begin? Kasi would you believe, klaro sa amin yun, pero bakit hindi klaro sa ibang tao? Bakit hanggang ngayon pinag-aawayan, when does human life begin? Why do people insist that it begins at implantation? I challenge anyone to check out any medical textbook available. In the Philippines, in Harvard, or elsewhere around the world, all doctors know for a fact that life begins at conception, at fertilization. And why is that? Because, to distinguish, you know that 23 chromosomes will come from the mother. 23 chromosomes will come from the father. What makes you a human being? A 46 chromosome. When does the 46 chromosome become complete? Fertilization. Hindi naman po pwedeng fertilization, tapos wag muna tayong magsama-sama. Kasi 5 days pa implantation pa daw bago tayo mabuo. And it says here that actually that happens in less than a second. When the 23 chromosomes from the mother and the 23 chromosomes from the father meet at the moment of conception, you already have a complete person.